But if you
Right,
got
and that's why we're here on, as far as with free will.
right,
Yeah.
right, and so this is a playground.
Mm.
I decided myself how many thousands of years ago that I wanted to experience it all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have. I've been
Mm-hmm.
experimenting with life right from day one. In fact, I can tell you some of the stories where I talked somebody into killing me just so I could experience sudden death.
Mm.
Now,
Yes, that was a past life you mentioned before.
okay?
Yeah.
So all of these energetic patterns are locked in at the cellular level of my mind. You see, your mind has never ever forgot one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not one thing. And your DNA holds all of uh, the what's the word? Um, the Acacia records.
Ah, Akashic
Yeah,
records.
your
Yes.
DNA holds all that,
Uh-huh.
and your mind knows what's there.
Mm.
But we have three parts to our mind. We have the right mind of the Holy Spirit, or Jesus, or whoever enlightenment you want to follow,
Mm-hmm.
in oneness with God.
Mm-hmm.
You have the ego mind, which is totally, completely separate and never ever been ever even inclined to believe that it's one with God.
Because it was separate. It's the illusion.
It's the
Yes.
illusion, and
Okay.
it has to be a complete illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know
It's what
that.
we chose. Is what
Huh?
it's what we chose to experience
Well,
with. Because if we didn't, if we knew we were one with God, then we couldn't have had these experiences.
that's right.
Uh-huh.
So we allowed that choice to
Mm-hmm.
become our reality, and the
Mm-hmm.
ego has
Mm-hmm.
expanded that over the years of our life, trying
Mm-hmm.
to keep us away from coming back to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And what's the third mind?
And the third mind is the superconscious mind.
Mm. The one, oh really?
Yeah,
What, that would be
that's your
different
I
than
am.
okay. So how is that different than the first one that you described?
Okay, the first one is the wrong
Enlight.
mind is the ego.
Yeah.
The right mind is in line with the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're functional right now.
Okay.
But every once in a while, when you're in the vertical time and you pick something up ahead of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
that's coming from your superconscious mind.
Ah, I see. I see.
Okay, and so we can always live here all
Mm-hmm.
day long. That's my goal.
Mm-hmm.
That's my. I'm looking for that attainment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Of living in that peace,
Right.
of knowing,
Right. Who
being
I am.
being enlightened,
Right.
and being connected with
And
the
being connected
superconscious.
to the superconscious,
And then,
knowing that it's not just a one-sided connection,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but that
There's lots of trilogies, aren't there?
right.
Like the three.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And because it's not a one-sided connection, I don't have to worry about maintaining myself as being perfect, because perfect I already am.
Mm-hmm.
But if I want to choose an experience here in this physical life, I have the choice to do that. And when that no longer serves me, I can simply say to it, isn't that interesting? That energy does no longer serve me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I put that out to the universe, I'm just saying to the universe, I'm getting ready for a change here.
Yeah.
Okay? It's just like a woman that's wanting to be pregnant. She wants, but she's never met a man. How
Mm-hmm.
successful is she ever going to be to get pregnant?
I guess she'll be continually wanting.
Right, right. So there has to be an action that follows, right?
Right. Right.
Okay. And so she meets her man. He's the man, and everything comes together, and she knows she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
She's the only one
Mm-hmm.
till it starts to show.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And although maybe another woman would look at her and say, "You're pregnant," because there's telltale sign.
Right.
There's a glow. There's a change. There's something that's different. Huh?
Right.
Okay.
So this is an analogy. Okay.
Right. This is an analogy of coming into this oneness,
Mm-hmm.
into atonement, huh?
Mm-hmm.
At one-ment,
Mm-hmm.
is recognizing, first of all, your peace center
Mm-hmm.
and how strong it is, and not being afraid of being confronted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we're always going to hit bumps on the road of life. That's
Mm-hmm.
part of the experience of duality. But you know what? One of the things that I'm starting to see for me is that I'm not here to change the world.
Well, I know I was going to come to that question of, okay, how do we next attain world peace?
You don't.
Because it's like, I want everybody to be peaceful, but
Ah,
that's
but that's not your job. You
right.
see,
The only peace I can totally have any kind of control, if you want to say that, I choose it. I choose peace
right,
within me,
right,
and then that
right,
can transfer
and
some.
that'll begin to bring change out here, which is the work of the universe, not mine. Okay, I need to attain it first in me, so that it can be revealed out here. It's just like going and stand in front of a mirror. Now, what do you see in the mirror?
Reflection.
A reflection, a hologram.
That's
Or
true. That's right.
it's not a reality, but it's a picture of the reality.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, if I don't like what I see in the mirror, beating the mirror up isn't going to change me, is it?
Nope.
So, without duality in my life, I would never seek change.
Well, yeah, it seems like when you get uncomfortable, that's when you really decide
That's
to change.
when you start to wiggle
Yeah.
around and, and
make different choices.
and make different choices, okay? Now, let's go to the analogy of a baby in its mother's womb. For 9 months, especially if it's been well loved and nurtured and mommy's always talking to it and daddy's talking to it and telling it how it's so going to be appreciated when it finally comes forth, and it comes out of this nice warm place of knowing who it is there into a cold, stark, bright lighted room with a whole bunch of people doing all kinds of things. Somebody picks you up by the heels and slaps you on the ass. You know what? That's very traumatic.
Yes, I guess it is.
That is very, very traumatic to that little one right there at that point. And that's the beginning of the ego. It needs a traumatic experience to kick it into gear. Because till a child is about 6 or 7 years old, it hasn't really lost its innocency yet completely. But by that time, we've kind of wore it down. We've told them that the Easter Bunny brings Easter eggs, Santa Claus brings presents, the Tooth Fairy gives you money for your teeth, and we have all of these facsimiles of what we represent or think is the reality of the illusion. And a child doesn't have the wherewithal to be able to assess that and balance it out for himself, because it's trusting its parents, it's looking for that place of acceptance that it's familiar with or wanting to become familiar with, and so it's accepting. But what's happening is that as more and more love is being poured into the universe, people are starting to wake up. Babies are starting to wake up. Children are starting to wake up. That's where you got crystal children, rainbow children, indigo children. These children don't march to the same drum beat, but they also suffer very traumatic experiences if they're not understood by their own parents or their school system.
Yeah.
Okay? And they're conditioned to be different than who they know they are. And so they get frustrated. In fact, it's a proven statistical fact that about 80% of the people in jail are actually dyslexic. And just because you're dyslexic doesn't mean you're dumb.
Right.
It just means you gather information in a different fashion. And so you get frustrated because everybody's trying to make you fit into a mold, and you're trying to be who you are. And you're trying to express that as you are. Now, the beauty about being in oneness with God, there is no judgment. So there is no wrong. There's just what is.
I know when I first got that concept, it was quite amazing. There's no right or wrong. It's just what is.
Just what is.
That's pretty amazing. And that then therefore no judgment.
And no judgment.
The whole allowance for detachment and allowing and
Right.
Acceptance. It's a very peaceful place, actually.
It's the only place to be at peace.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you can't be at peace and not be there. Okay?
And then applying that concept, to everyday 3D life is quite challenging.
Of course, because there's always the contrast.
Yes. And so then my question would be, and probably last one as we wrap it up, Living in the fifth dimension, which we believe is here now, and Mother Earth is heading towards, Mother Gaia. So she'll be choosing the fifth dimension because she's a being in her own right, to live in the fifth dimension, and those of us awake will choose that too, I believe. What's
Well,
your thoughts on
my
those?
thought on that seems to run along this line of thought. All those that are ready will be ready, and those that are not quite ready won't be quite ready. And those that don't even want it right now is okay too.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all
okay.
good because there's just what is.
Yeah, no,
Okay?
no judgment.
There's no judgment. So if somebody,
Choices.
so
We
if
do
somebody
still-
wants to go around the mountain for another 400 years, you know, there it is. Have at it. It's your choice. But when when the conclusion that I drew to for myself is that about 6-8 months ago, maybe more, I came to the realization that this was my last trip here in this physicalness. Okay, and I want to be able to bring my body with me. Okay, because in the realm of infinite potential and unlimited possibilities, why can't I do that? I'm the creator.
That's right.
So somebody says, "Oh yeah, but that doesn't make any sense." I say, "Okay, to you, that's fine. I hear you. But you asked me a question that I gave you an answer, and if you didn't like the answer, I could also say to you, you shouldn't ask the question, because because that's my answer.
Right. Okay.
That's my answer.
That's cool.
And so, in the realm of infinite potential and unlimited possibilities, starting from the present moment, all you can do is keep climbing up that ladder, recognizing you don't want to live here, you don't want to live here, you want to live here. This is oneness.
That's living in forgiveness and no problems
No
out there.
polarity, no pull nor push, zero polarity. You're just being. Because we're not here to do anything. We're just here to be. Because somebody will ask you a question. How come you're different? How come you look different? Or I've been watching you and you act different. Then you have a story to tell them. Okay? And a story has to be your story. Not a composite of a whole bunch of theologies and explanations of this guy, that guy, this guy, making a reality that you think applies to you. It has to become your experience. Until you know it, you don't know it. It's impossible to be there unless you are there.
Yeah.
Okay? And so this is total unlimitedness. And it all starts here in the present.
Nice. Well, thank you, Robert. It's been a pleasure. We'll have to do this again.
Well, sure.
All right.
I thank you. I honor you for this.
All right. I'll take a little quick peek of the, I don't know if we can see this.
Oh, yeah.
This is the
Oh,
videoing
that.
the
Oh, yeah.
wonderful diagram you did here of the past, the future, but the vertical line looking like, what did you call it? Oh,
vertical
Jacob's.
time.
Yeah, and Jacob's ladder.
Jacob's ladder,
Cool.
where
All right.
everything that comes down from heaven also goes back to heaven.
Perfect. And we're in a wonderful setting outdoors.
Yeah, this is just
Yeah.
this is the canopy of heaven.
That's right. All right. Over now.
Over and out.